Footy podcast, where we talk all things footy. If you could hit that 3-punch combination by liking, subscribing and commenting down below. Thank you very much if you are listening right now, and enjoy the pod. Hello people. Your boy is back at it again with another pod. I've just come off a pod, and I've come off a pod just previously, but I've got a very, very good gentleman in here. His name is Adam. Do you want to introduce yourself, Adam?
Hi guys, my name is Adam. I am a massive Liverpool fan, and you can find me at the moment on TikTok at Adam.brandsports.
There you have it, people. So Adam's over here because we are going to do a Premier League prediction. So basically, in hindsight, people, we're just going to pull up each team and we're going to talk about each team and where they could potentially finish. And we're just going to have a general football chat over here. It's not going to be scripted. It's off the cuff per usual. You know me, off the cuff. If there's mistakes, remember the other a couple of podcasts back before, people, where my dog was barking its head off in the background and I was shouting at it. I don't care. It's just in there. The pod's there. We're ready to go. So I'm going to pull up on my screen now for everyone to see the Premier League table. It's the brand new one for the 24-25 season. We're going to start off at the bottom. So with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Let me pull it up on your screen, people, so everyone can see it. So Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'll start off, bro, then I'll bring you in.
Yeah,
Wolves,
sure.
I think they will have a relatively good season. Last season, they did well. They didn't do. They're there. The Wolves, the kind of thing when it comes to the latter end of the season with Wolves, you kind of switch off with them because you know they ain't going to go for a European football. You know they're not going to get relegated, so they just float around, kind of, Wolves. But I do think next season we could see them finish 12th, 11th. But I don't have too much insight into Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's some other teams that I will. Adam, your thoughts on Wolves? You got any thoughts on Wolverhampton?
Yeah, do you know what? I actually find Wolves quite a funny team, actually, because when they got Gary Neville, everyone was actually writing them off in terms of, is he good enough? Will they get relegated, etc.
Yeah.
But I actually like Wolves, and I like how they play the football, and that is down to the manager. If they can sort that defence out and perhaps score quite a few more goals, and also bearing in mind they were on the end of some really bad VAR decisions throughout the season, and I think actually, if you look at it, they may be the most team affected by VAR decisions. So that did count against them. But if they can get some goals and actually win some more games, I actually agree with you, Joe. I think you're probably looking at about 12th or 11th. Yeah. And that is probably what Wolves can hope for, because there is a lot more better teams as we go through that will finish higher than them.
Yeah, I'll completely back it, bro. They were the only team what went against the VAR, the vote, weren't it? There was 20 teams. I think Wolverhampton Wanderers were the only team that went against it. If I remember correctly, that was literally last week. And 19 teams voted in favour of VAR, and then only one team didn't. I think it was Wolverhampton Wanderers. But yeah, 11th, 12th is kind of that position. I think we can move on over to West Ham United. Do you want to take the lead on West Ham United, brother?
Yeah, well, oh, sorry, my screen's gone black, but
it's okay, bro. It's okay.
No, absolutely. I mean, they've got a new manager coming in, and I actually really like this manager. He obviously was at Wolves previously, and he's left. Yeah. David Moyes, I think, done a wonderful job at West Ham. He got them the first European trophy, and then obviously Arsenal come calling for Declan Rice.
Rice, baby.
And I think that West Ham kind of struggled a little bit, and I think that was down to Declan Rice leaving. But credit where credit's due. David Moyes came in and he stabilised West Ham and he kept them in the Premier League. He won them the trophy. But at the moment, I actually think it's quite testing times for West Ham, because with David Moyes, you got that sort of stability where he was always probably going to keep West Ham in that Premier League regardless of who goes and who stays. But now with a new manager in charge, and also if Bowen performs well at the Euros, which if he gets game time, because we don't know if Southgate will make these changes, etc., that actually they're one of their better players in Bowen. He actually could go to a Liverpool or to a Chelsea, because he's good enough. But
I completely agree, brother. Completely.
But I think West Ham, I'm going to say that they will finish probably around 9th.
Yeah, I can back it, brother. West Ham United, obviously, like Adam's just touched on, very, 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 very good insight there, bro. I wasn't expecting it. It's obviously because my mind's playing tricks on me because I've been doing pods all day. But yeah, West Ham United, very, very good team. They've got Mohamed Kudus, they've got Jared Bowen, they've got Alvarez. They've got quite a few players in there, but I think they are looking kind of. They need a striker to come in because they're relying on Mikel Antonio still sometimes, aren't they? So I think they do need a better striker. But yeah, they're a good side. They're a good side. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm an Arsenal fan, people, but you know me, I'm unbiased unless it comes to Tottenham, where I'll put Tottenham in 20th place. But we'll move on to Tottenham shortly. I won't, people. I'll be realistic. West Ham United, yeah, I'm thinking they'll push for a European spot per usual. They will do quite well, but I think they might fall off towards the latter end of the season. But I want to touch on something. I don't know about West Ham fans if you are listening, but I think in my eyes they shouldn't have got rid of David Moyes. I think he stabilised them. He got them their first European trophy in donkey's years. And then they did really well. I remember the first 6 games of the season, they were in front of Arsenal, and all the West Ham fans were going, "Oh, Declan Rice, he's gone to the wrong team," and that. But we got him off price. We got him off price. Declan Rice, we got him off price. Sorry, West Ham fans, but yeah, West Ham are a relatively good team. I think I'm going to go for a 10th for West Ham United. And then we move over to Spursy. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm gonna say Tottenham Hotspur, non-biasedly, will finish 20th. No, they won't. They won't. Oh, well, I'm joking, people. I'm joking. Don't at me in the comments. Don't clip me. Please do not clip me because I don't mean it. I've got someone in the chat, so let's quickly have a look over in the chat, people. It's crazy_editor, which I'm going to say it's not coming up properly there. But yeah, crazy_editor 365 says hello. Do you want to say hello to crazy_editor, Adam?
Hi, mate. How are you?
Yeah, just keep dropping in the comments, bro. We appreciate the support. Anyway, moving on back over to Tottenham. They had a really good season last season. Towards the latter end of the season, the thing that kind of annoyed me when their fans were celebrating a loss at Man City and stuff, I would never, ever, ever celebrate Arsenal losing. Whether it was Tottenham to win the league, I couldn't care less. I don't care what happens over at Tottenham in the slightest. I don't care. I don't care about the club. I don't care about their fans because they're forever in our shadows. And that's how I think. I'm coming at the biasness as the Arsenal, but that's the only team I will be that towards because I have a lot of Tottenham fans all up in my grill all the time. But Tottenham, they have got a good squad. I think their centre-back partnership of Romero and what's his name, Adam? My head's gone. The other centre-back from Tottenham.
Isn't it? No, it's not Dragusin, is it? It's not the Romanian guy.
It's not Dragusin. It's Van de Ven. Van de Ven.
Yeah, the left-footed defender, isn't he? Yeah,
he's quality. I'll admit it to you, Tottenham fans. Mickey Van de Ven is quality. He's a good centre back, and that's from the Tottenham squad. For Arsenal, I would only take 2 players, and it would be Heung-min Son and Van de Ven. But you just need to look go over. Last season, it was like you could have fought for top 4. You could have made top 4 if you would have beat Manchester City. If you beat Manchester City that last day, you would actually have made top 4. And then you just didn't think you had a chance. But Villa flopped towards the end of the season. If you beat Man City, you actually would have got top 4. And then that's the thing. You're there celebrating, but you've missed out on Champions League football. And now you're playing Europa League football next season, which in hindsight will damage your league position in the following season. So in that retrospective, I think that Tottenham will finish 6th next season. What do you think, Adam?
You know what? Tottenham are actually quite an interesting team because, when Ange came in, he was relatively an unknown. Obviously, he was manager at Celtic and stuff, and he done well in the Scottish League. But the Scottish League isn't hard, is it? I mean, a lot of the time it's Celtic winning the league and Rangers playing catch up. But he implemented the style of play that Tottenham actually needed, and they got in players. With Maddison up front, obviously, well, he's the playmaker, isn't he, Maddison?
And
he's
then from some commentary.
Like you said, Van de Ven, I actually think Van de Ven is absolute quality because he's got pace, he's got a great shot on him, he just knows the game really well. I think Tottenham struggled throughout the season, especially when Maddison got injured. because I think they relied on him quite a lot. And do you know what? I think their best player last season was actually the goalkeeper. I really like the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Vicario was very good.
Vicario. Yeah, I really like him. It's interesting to see what happens. I think, obviously, I think I read that they've got Werner again. Is that correct? They've
Yeah, they
re-signed.
bought Timo Werner now, no? Was it another loan?
I wonder if they've got him back on a loan. I don't know if they've actually bought
Yeah,
him
they brought him back
just
in, yeah.
yet.
Either way, they brought him back in.
The thing with Werner, he's quick, he's fast. Has he got a finish in him? You know, he plays on that left side. He's missed a few chances, but I think and also bear in mind, Richarlison, he plays, isn't he a starter for Brazil now? I just don't think he scores enough goals, and I think Spurs actually miss Harry Kane, and I think
100%.
in order to climb that table, they're going to need a striker that's going to score as much as Harry Kane did.
Yeah.
You cannot just rely on Son, because Son never produced last season. He might have had his few moments here and there,
Yeah,
but ultimately he went missing, I believe. That's my own opinion.
Yeah.
But in regards to Tottenham, is and going to get them playing the same way he did last season? And also, really, injuries. You need backups that are good enough to come off the
They don't have
bench.
the depth.
No, and also the subs. You need subs that change games. If you can bring someone on with 10 minutes to go, you're going to say to him, "Can you nick me a goal?" And that's what Spurs haven't got. And then also Daniel Levy, is he going to give him the money to go and get someone? Because we all know that Daniel Levy is quite a tough body to get money from, and we know that he drives a hard bargain in trying to get the best money for his players. I actually have Tottenham possibly 7th or 8th.
Yeah,
But
I'll come back.
that's depending. If they get a really good striker, they could go higher. But for now, and also
you go on.
And also with the way the fixtures go, we don't know yet because they come out next week. So it's relatively good to then look at the fixtures and say where we're going to get them wins. Obviously, every team hopes to get a win, but you look at the fixtures and think we're going to get a win there, we're going to get a win there, and so it's interesting to see. But I think Tottenham will finish in about 7.
Yeah, I can completely agree. I want to touch on something as well with them. So you know how they're all proud of this high line football. Did you know that Arsenal played the highest line in the league last season? We actually played the highest. Our defence was the furthest forward last season, and it goes high line this, high line that. I know I'm discrediting Tottenham fans, but it's just what I heard, and I think that mentality of and Postecoglou come out and spoke about that mentality of the fans, and then that's what's cost them at the end of the day. You wouldn't see Arsenal fans watching and cheering on another team. You never would see. I've never seen another team do it before. Never. And it's just so Spursy. Like it literally, it's just the mentality. Like, and I'm just giving an example. You know, we just spoke about Timo Werner coming back on in loan. He wouldn't even come near the Arsenal squad.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
No, that's kind of the dilemma they have. So because they're Tottenham and they haven't got Champions League football, they can't bring in the big boys. So like, just say if Arsenal had enough money, I know it's sounding really biased, but if Arsenal or Liverpool, because you support Liverpool, if they had enough money, they could go and speak to a Rafael Leao straight away.
Absolutely.
And, would Rafael Leao want to go to Tottenham? No, he wouldn't.
No, and that's the bottom line, isn't it? You need the best football for your club, Champions League football, Premier League titles. If you're competing on a regular basis, season in, season out, you're more than capable of going for these bigger players, and they're more inclined to want to come to your team.
Exactly. So like you think about it, Declan Rice last season, he got his head turned. He could have went to Man City or Man City or Arsenal. For example, I know it sounds a bit mad, but is West Ham to Tottenham an upgrade or is it a sidestep?
It's a complete sidestep, and we should know. We all should know that because, in the greatest respect to both West Ham and Tottenham, what Mikel Arteta has done at Arsenal is incredible, isn't it? And the way he's got them players playing, and actually the only missing piece of the jigsaw was Declan Rice. Although Arsenal fell short at the end, Rice was that player that came in and he hit the ground running, and he changed that Arsenal midfield and the way they play.
I'm glad you think that because Declan Rice, I know we're going to get onto Arsenal in a bit, but Declan Rice, I couldn't believe because we spoke about West Ham. When we signed him, I knew of Declan Rice, obviously from playing from England, but when he come, I didn't realise how good he was.
Yeah.
He's absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, you put Tottenham there. We'll move over to Southampton. Southampton coming up. Could I see them going back down? Maybe I could. But when we move over to Leicester, it's going to be a bit further on. Leicester are going to start off with a points deduction for one, and they've just lost their manager, so I can see Leicester going back down. So with Southampton, where would I put them? It just really depends on signings, but I'm going to put Southampton 18th to go down. What are you thinking with Southampton?
Do you know what it seems every year that these teams, like especially Southampton, they went down and they've come back up, and it's
Yeah, yo-yo.
almost they're too good for the Championship, but not good enough for the Premier League, and that's where we find ourselves. And Southampton will always sell their players, and they've sold some in the past. They've sold some massive players. Obviously, Liverpool buying Virgil van
Liverpool
Dijk
and Arsenal, we both love them.
and Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally think that they're going to struggle. Actually,
Yes, so do
they're going to get relegated, I think, and I think they're actually going to finish about 19th because I just don't think they're going to be good enough in defence or scoring enough goals.
Yeah, I can back that completely, brother. I can completely back it. Moving on over to Nottingham Forest. Very, very, very historical club. Don't get me wrong, people. Nottingham Forest is one of the clubs, when you talk about history of the Premier League and so forth, you'd have Nottingham Forest up there. Not in the top 4, top 5, but you'd have them maybe top half as one of the most historical clubs there with Villa. Nottingham Forest, Villa, very historical clubs. Forest, I could see them getting a 15th position. I think they've actually got some really, really good players in that squad. I really do. So they've got Morgan Gibbs White. They've got so many gifted players. But there's just too many people in that squad. I think they released 28 players in the summer. I think at the end of the season they've released about 28 players at Southampton, something stupid like that. So they've released them players, and then now they're rebuilding again. So where are you thinking with Forest, bro?
Do you know what Forest is? I actually like Nottingham Forest, and I think sometimes they actually play better than what they get out of the game.
Yeah,
and they ultimately they missed quite a few chances, and towards the end of the season, I'm sure that Chris Wood actually missed quite a few
he did
sitters
against Man City.
Yeah, to change the game and get a point or get a win.
Yeah.
I think they'll be all right, because obviously, as we're going to go through, that there is actually might end up being 3 worse teams than Forest. And
Yeah.
I'm going to say 15th or 16th. I completely agree, Jay, to be honest.
Okay, so we'll move on over. Can you see this on your screen, or you just want me to keep reading it out?
I can see. Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. So it's a bit bigger now. We've got Newcastle United. I think Newcastle ain't got no European football this season, have they? They missed out on European football. So I think that Newcastle may have a better season. I think they could push for Champions League football, but then again, I don't think they will make Champions League football. I think if they keep Bruno Guimaraes, they keep Isak, and then they improve in certain different positions, I think they could be a real threat next season. That's kind of my thinking behind this, people. But I think they're getting James Trafford in goal. I don't think they're good enough in goal still either way. They've got. I rate Fabian Schär. I do rate Sven Botman. I think Trippier's starting to come towards the end of his career, so I think they need to replace that. But they do. The thing is with Newcastle, they have the core of the team already sorted. They just need them important, good signers. So, for example, when Arsenal, and I'll keep coming back to Arsenal, but we had a season where we brought in Ben White and Odegaard and Martinelli, and then look how they turned out. Odegaard with £30 million. Ben White is 50. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's done his price tag. But yeah, Martinelli was £6 million. So we had a good window, and I think that's all that takes for Newcastle is to have a really, really good window. So I'm predicting they're going to finish in 6th position. What about you, brother?
You know what? I think Newcastle are a really good team, and on their day, you watch it at St James's Park.
Oh,
them fans, they really back their team, and the atmosphere is second to none. And although I've never been there, you just feel it, don't you?
Yeah,
when watching the TV, and they're on the attack, and that end, I can't remember what end it is. Is it? It's not the Shearer end, is it?
No. I know what you're on about. It's because it's uphill as well, isn't it? It's uphill at St. James.
Yeah. And obviously the away fans, I think, sit in the gods.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So
yeah. It's the closest thing to Anfield, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think Newcastle are absolutely fabulous because the manager Eddie Howe, he's done. I liked him at Bournemouth, to be fair, and at one
Yeah,
point I did actually want him to be the England manager. And the way that the owners have actually backed Howe and spent the money that they have in
yeah,
terms of getting Isak in and getting Gamiris in, and I actually think he's improved them as players as well because now you're getting bigger teams wanting his players. And
yeah.
Isak is a massive one. I would love Liverpool to go and
Yeah,
buy Isak, but
I would.
Newcastle are going to want over £100 million.
They want they when Arsenal have gone in for him this summer, they rebutted with I think it was 180 million pound.
See, it's great. It's crazy money. But the
Crazy
thing
money,
is,
not a
all
chance.
these transfers that take place, especially from the Saudi league, is controlling how much teams
Well,
are
it's
asking for
Chelsea.
these
It's
players.
Chelsea what have changed it really. Like,
Yeah,
because you think I'll ask you a question, brother. I don't know if you've seen it over on my TikTok. I spoke on Isak when he was linked to Arsenal, and I said that's extortionate money. I said, how much is Bukayo Saka worth? If Isak's had a very, very, very good season. He's a great striker. Don't get me wrong, people. But the season before, he played 16 games. I mean, at Sociedad, the season before, he scored 12 goals. Last season, he scored, I think it was 12 and 16 for Newcastle. Great return. But he played 16 matches. So he has got a few injuries in it. But I'd love to see him at Arsenal. But 180 million. Adam, how much is Bukayo Saka worth if we're basing off Isak's valuation of 180 million pound?
the problem is this is where it gets interesting because everyone jumps on the bandwagon and say players are worth this and players are worth that.
Yeah.
I actually think that they play very in different roles. So I'm going to sit on the fence and say they're probably worth the same in terms of.
Yeah, I can back that, bro. But what I'm saying, if Isak's worth that much, then surely a Bukayo Saka's worth that much.
Yeah, I agree because the end product that Saka produces for that Arsenal team is second to none, and the
Exactly.
way he handles that right wing and he cuts inside and bends his
You'd have
shot,
him as a Salah replacement, wouldn't you?
I would, but he would never come to Liverpool.
No, but just
But
say you had the choice. If you had the choice of picking a right winger to come over and play Salah, would Saka be the top of your list?
he wouldn't, and there's
Okay,
reasons why he wouldn't,
that's fair enough.
and that is because I absolutely adore both Elise and Eze from Crystal Palace.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll move on over to them soon. But yeah, I get you, brother. So you carry on with Newcastle. Where do you think they're going to finish?
I think the key is whether they're going to lose players because ultimately there is. I think there was talk of Real Madrid coming in for Guimaraes. I don't think that's going to happen because Real Madrid are covered in terms of. I think Modric is staying, Tchouaméni is staying.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know Mbappe's gone there. They've got Valverde, so I don't see Guimaraes going to La Liga anytime soon. So if they keep their
I
players
could
fit,
see
and
him coming
obviously
to Arsenal, bro. I could.
but the thing is, Newcastle. It depends if are they involved in football
They've got
regulations?
FFP, but
Have they got FFP? If they've got to sell
he's
someone, I
got a
think
clause in his contract as well. By the end of June, you can buy him for 100 million pound.
is he worth 100 million? That's the thing.
That's the question.
That is the question. I don't think he's worth 100 million. I don't
But
think he's
Caicedo went for that much, and so did Enzo Fernandez.
yeah because Chelsea decided that's
Yeah.
what they were worth.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Newcastle. I actually think they're going to finish. I've said 7 or 8, and I'm gonna before, but I really do think that they might finish seventh.
Yeah, I'll come back that. I'll come back that. Um, moving over, I've forgotten even where I've put teams. I've done that many pods today. But we'll move over to Manchester United. Ten Hag is staying. They've won a trophy. I think it was the right call. I don't think Manchester United fans will agree with me, but I think it was the right call because otherwise they're just going to constantly go back and forth, one manager, one manager. They need to stick to a manager, stick to his guns, and if they think Ten Hag's the right man, then back him. I think they need to have a few. I think they need a complete rebuild. That's what Arsenal did when we got rid of Aubameyang, we got rid of Özil,
Yeah,
and then we just flushed out the club and started again. And with their stadium leaking and all amongst other things, I think they've got a lot of dead wood that needs to be gotten and gone. I think that even includes Marcus Rashford. I think he's lost his love for the game. I think he needs to go over to a PSG or something. But anyways, that's in another further debate. But Manchester United, depending on the acquisitions they get, I could put Manchester United Fifth. I'm going to go for a fifth for Manchester United. I know it might be high. That sounds mad to say that's high for Manchester United, but fifth.
I mean, I was talking to Sweeney this morning about Manchester United because he went live on TikTok and stuff, and I left a comment on there which he pinned, and the comment was that Manchester United need to stop buying average players for overpriced money.
That's right.
But the problem is where Manchester United are so used to buying average players for big money, clubs are holding them to ransom for these players.
Exactly. They think Manchester United are coming in, so they'll just up the price.
But the silly thing is Manchester United actually pay the money. So in reference to that, I was actually mentioning Anthony. I actually think Anthony is a complete waste of money, especially for £80 million. He's
a £30 million player.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. They've overpaid, absolutely overplayed. Manchester United I actually find them boring. I actually find them that I watch them and that you can get at them so easily. Every team, it looks like, goes to Old Trafford with no fear anymore. There used to be fear the moment they stepped onto that pitch at Old Trafford, and since Fergie left, it doesn't exist. No. And every team wants to go to Old Trafford and they outperform Manchester United. They out-battle them. They win that ball. They score goals. Manchester United, like you said, need a rebuild, but how much money is Eric Ten Hag going to get? And also, how much money a team's going to want to pay for Marcus Rashford that hasn't produced? How much money are they actually going to get to reinvest in this team to get them basically massive again and getting that Old Trafford bouncing and getting them home wins? Because Manchester United, I mean, I grew up, obviously, and Manchester United won everything.
Same as me, exactly the same. We're the same age pretty much, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it was always Manchester United, Manchester United, and Manchester United. And I actually feel quite proud that it's not been Manchester United for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And the only way they
for them,
pardon?
I think I'm being nostalgic, but because obviously in the 90s and the 2000s it was Arsenal, Man United. So even when we went there and beat them the second last game of the season, I kind of looked at them and just went, "What's happened? What's happened to you, man?" Like, I wanted a good game here, and it just weren't. It was easy.
No, and with the way that and also I actually think the way that they've kept Ten Hag waiting is actually really appalling. The way they've actually treated him, and it's been obviously in the media. It came out just before the FA Cup final that he's going to lose his job. And ultimately, I know Manchester United won the FA Cup and the players actually performed really well against City in the derby. Yeah. But the only way for Manchester United to improve was actually to keep Eric Ten Hag. Me personally, I don't really rate him as much as I would like. But we've seen other managers, really good managers, go to Manchester United and they have got nothing out of that team, nothing out of that squad.
Yeah.
I actually think Manchester United are going to finish 8th.
I can back that, bro. I could see that happening too. I could see it my way or your way, but either way, I can't see them challenging and coming near top 4. We'll move on over to Manchester City. Let me scroll up the screen, people. So Manchester City. So we've got that's the next lot. Manchester City. I'm going to touch on it straight away. Can I give you a little thing that I said what it was like for Arsenal with the title race last?
Go on.
Little analogy. My analogy of Manchester City last season, okay, and Arsenal. Imagine running the marathon next to someone the whole way, and then the last 100 meters they win. But you find out after the last 100 meters they're on steroids because they're cheats. That's exactly. Is that not a great analogy, brother? But Manchester City, take away the 115 charges, take away the cheat. They're a great football club. Fan base wise, maybe not, but they're a great. Their team is absolutely exceptional. I'm going to take biasness out of it because they won the league over Arsenal. I ain't got no problems with Man City. They've got an exceptional squad. They've got the likes of KDB. They've got Haaland. They've got all these boys. But I think this season, I think things change. I think last season Arsenal were on their tails, and then who I was talking to earlier, Mike at Adam.brandsports, who wants to go on his station, to my radio station. He said to me, he's a mad Man City fan, mad Manchester City fan. He said to me, he can see Arsenal next season winning by about 10 points, and he said that as a Man City fan. I was like, oh really? And he goes, He goes, yeah, he goes, you don't think Man City next season, because of everything that's going on, I think he thinks the players are not going to want to come because of what's going to happen. Because people do think something is going to happen. We all know they've cheated. So something has to come from it. So why would players want to come over? Why would they want to go and sign for Manchester City right now? That's kind of the thing I'm thinking. But I'm going to put Manchester City in second position. I know everyone's going to say deluded Arsenal fan, but I'm going to put them second. I don't see them six-peating. I think that next season is the season that they lose the title. What you let me know, brother. What you think?
It's interesting, obviously, with the charges and they haven't come out yet. Forest and Everton have been dealt with.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it's going, and the Premier League are delaying and delaying and delaying. As you're all aware, that obviously, right at the last minute, Manchester City performed and obviously won the league. I can remember it back to 2 seasons.
I'm still here, bro. I'm still here.
With Liverpool, because for 2 seasons, Liverpool got the highest amount of points in a league season, and yet Manchester City beat them by 1 point for both seasons. It's a tough one. Haaland is a beast. Let's face it. He is just a Norwegian Viking that just scores goals after goals after goals. Kevin De Bruyne is injury prone, I believe now. He's getting a little bit more injured. He obviously is at an age where he's not playing so many games. The upgrade on Grealish with Doku, I think that was a great idea. I like Doku as a player. Rodri is the mastermind of Manchester City. Rodri is absolutely mustard. As much as I hate him, I think he's absolutely a baller. And then obviously you've got the defence and Ederson in goal. If they can stay fit, and if De Bruyne stays fit, it's going to be close, isn't it? Like it's so hard to call. We will touch on obviously Arsenal at the end, and I will give you my thoughts on Arsenal.
Yeah, you whatever you think, bro. Whatever you think. If you think they're going to win it, you think they're going to win it, bro.
I've got a sneaky feeling this could be Pep's last season.
It is going to be his last season.
Without anyone knowing, because obviously it will keep that under wraps.
He's pretty much said it, hasn't he? He's pretty much said that it's going to be his last season.
And I think that's where it plays a little bit. And I actually think the players are just going to go crazy.
You said that about Liverpool this season, though.
Yeah, I think obviously with the way the Champions League format as well it has changed, which means there's more games for players, less rest time.
They've got a massive squad.
I'm going to sit on I'm going to say they finish first again. I think they go 5.
That, brother. Yeah, you can go either way, bro. And you know what I want to touch on with how Liverpool finished so close. I can give you one example of what happened there. So do you know when everyone said about Arsenal going to Man City and then parking the bus and gaining a point? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know this fact? Yeah. Jurgen Klopp went there on 8 occasions and only won once.
Correct. And I believe, if I am correct, that was a 4-1 win right at the beginning of his tenure. And that was when we first signed Coutinho and Firmino.
Correct.
And I think Martin Skrtel at the end scored a wonder goal on the volley.
So that whole Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp battle, they beat City once in 8 seasons. But you were saying that you finished 1 point behind, 2 points behind.
Yeah.
What would have happened? What would have happened if you went and parked the bus and got a draw like Arsenal did last season?
Yeah, I mean,
you would have won the league.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll touch on it more later with Liverpool and Arsenal.
So we'll move over to Leicester City. I had Southampton at 18th. I think that Leicester will finish 19th. I think they're going to have a points deduction coming straight away into the season. They've lost their manager to Chelsea, who I think will be a very good manager for Chelsea. But my expectations of Leicester, sorry, Leicester fans, I'm from Coventry, so I don't really need to apologise anyway because it's rivals. But I think that Leicester will struggle. I don't think they'll struggle playing against teams, but I think the point deduction and that, and the no manager, I think it's going to be hard work for them. Where do you think they can finish, Adam?
I am going to say they actually save themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they finish 17th.
Yeah.
Because I think if by the looks of things, it could be Graham Potter going in.
Yeah.
Graham Potter done a wonderful job at Brighton, and obviously he left when Chelsea come calling. And he plays a really good brand of football. Obviously, it didn't work out Chelsea, but he's a good manager. And the way that Leicester play, obviously they had a bit of a wobble, didn't they? Till midway through the season, and it looked like that they might not go up, and they sort of got it back together at the end and went up as champions. I'm going to say they survive, and I'm going to say that they finish 17th.
I can back it, bro. I can see it happening. Ipswich Town. It's whether I think all the teams that have come up will go back down, which happened this season, didn't it? All three teams went back down.
Yeah.
With McKenna as well. Ipswich is their ground as well. Ipswich is a hard ground to go to as well. I'm going to swap Southampton to 20th. I'm going to put Ipswich at 18th. Either way, I think the three teams that come up go back down. Ipswich, I can't really. It's hard because I think they could have a decent season, but in the same, from past experiences of the last league, I think they could. All three teams could just go back down again because how strong the Premier League is. It's just because it's hard. It really is. But yeah, I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to say that Ipswich go back down as well. What are you thinking?
Portman Road is a fortress.
Exactly.
And that place gets rocking. And I think if they can get their wins at Portman Road, because I don't think going away they're going to get much, because obviously, as you said, the Premier League is really tough, and there is a hell of a lot of teams that are better than them. I like Kieran McKenna. He plays some good football. I haven't watched a lot of Ipswich Town.
Neither have I really.
But
touch on it.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement. I actually think they're going to ship a lot of goals. I just think defensively is a worry. And I actually think potentially they're going to find it quite tough scoring goals and getting in behind. And the way that they play football, I think teams are going to press them and they're going to get caught on the ball quite a lot. I'm going to say they finish 19th purely on that basis.
I can back that, bro. I can completely back it. Moving on over to Fulham Football Club, Craven Cottage. Lovely, lovely stadium. Old school. Fulham are one of them teams. They're similar to Wolves, where it comes to the latter end of the season, they're mid-table. They're all right. They're not going anywhere. I'm going to put them. I think I'll put Wolves in 12th. I'm going to put Fulham in 11th. I think they've got a good manager there. They've got a good squad. I don't really see them pulling up any trees. I think 11th place position is fair for Fulham. Yeah, you know who I really like from Fulham? I really like Robinson, the left back.
Yeah,
I really do like him. And Pereira. I do like Pereira and just Pereira. There's a few little players in there that I do think are some good little players. I think they're at their level. I think 11th place for Fulham. What about you, mate?
I'm going to say that they finish probably about 12th.
Yeah.
Give or take, because they are on their day. They're really good, and we can see they've got some great players. My worry is Paulinho. He is a great player, and it looks like he might be going.
Paulinho.
Yeah, he might be going, and also it's about getting a good enough replacement in. He's their midfielder. He wins that ball. He's a great all round player. I'm going to say 12th because they do score enough goals. Robinson is a player that I like. I actually wouldn't mind Liverpool because Robertson's getting on a little bit now, and they don't actually have another left. I know they've got Simicast, but Robertson is actually quite a similar player to Robertson. He's not good. Yeah. He's not as on his level, but he's quick. He gets forward. He crosses that ball. He finds a pass.
Defensively as well. He marked Saka out the game when we played. You don't forget, Fulham beat Arsenal twice this season.
Wow, that's a stat.
They beat us twice this season, Fulham did. We lost to Arsenal in December. We lost to Fulham. We lost to Villa. We lost to West Ham. We lost 4 games in a row in December.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but carry on with Fulham. But yeah, they beat us twice.
I like Fulham, but yeah, they're a funny one, aren't they? Because
yeah, they are.
They're because everyone does. You know what I mean? They're like the type of team that you put on a football coupon, and you're waiting for them for 1 week, and you need them to win, and they've been winning, and out of nowhere they'll get a draw.
Yeah.
or a loss.
They're one of the teams that you don't back because they could go and beat a Manchester United, but then they could
Yeah,
go and lose to an Ipswich.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That it's just unpredictable, isn't it? I'm going to say 12.
Yeah, I can back that. Everton Football Club. I think that Everton will progress this season. I think that Everton will do better. Because Sean Dyche has got them playing. We know the way with Sean Dyche. Go on, Pepper. So I'm just talking to my dog. Sean Dyche has got them playing again. They did really well considering that points deduction. I'm going to back Everton for a 13th place finish. What about you, brother?
I'm going to say they finished 14th.
Yeah.
Which we're very similar. I actually don't like Sean Dyche's style of play, to be honest.
Neither do I, but it works.
It's very anti-boring. It's similar to when he was at Burnley.
It's old school.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember the old Sam Allardyce of Bolton?
Yeah, that's literally what I could pull up. He had little likes of JJ Okocha and stuff like that in there, but he parked the bus and he just lofted the ball up. Just proper old English football.
Yeah, exactly. And they out of defence. I mean, Jordan Pickford. He's obviously England's number one, and he saved. He was probably Everton's best player last season.
He had 13 clean sheets last season. He had the second most in the league.
That's crazy, and that is down. Not, I don't think that's down to the defence. I actually think it's down to himself.
Yeah, he had some very, very good games. Old dinosaur arms.
But yeah, I think Everton. If he, I mean, the problem is he can't really change the style of play because you need that type of players, don't you? And he's got Calvert-Lewin, the big target up front. Beto, I'm not too sure whether he can improve Beto because he's not. He's missed quite a few chances when they could have won the game. I think Everton. Yeah, I think perhaps maybe 15th.
Yeah, I can back that, brother. I can back that. So let's move on. I think so. We've got Crystal Palace next. It really depends if their team gets plucked because they had with Mateta and with Elise and Adam Wharton, and then they've got Eze. I can't see Eze and Elise staying. I think Elise is already on his way to Chelsea. I'm going to put Crystal Palace 14th next season. I think if they keep their players, brother, don't get me wrong, it might be a bit outlandish me saying this, but if they keep their players, I could see them having a high 9th position. But I'm going to put them, I'm going to put them there. I'm going to put them about 14th. What about you, brother?
That's the whole point, Jay, isn't it? It's whether they keep their core players.
Yeah.
That end of the season run with the way that they was absolutely thumping teams, and Mateta, he was on fire, wasn't he?
He was a baller, didn't he?
He was absolutely quality.
It's funny when you even think about it because the way he looks like he should be scrapping on the streets, like fighting people on the streets. He looks like a right hard geezer.
A Shola Amiobi.
Yeah, Shola. Yeah, a bit of Shola Amiobi, a bit of. I don't know if you remember Deli Adebola, a bit like that.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I mean, the way that they score goals with Eze and Elise, and do you know what? Eze just glides past players, doesn't he? He gets that ball, he glides past, he wins free kicks. He's got a great shot on him. Wharton, do you know what? I've not seen much of Wharton, to be fair. Obviously, they got him from Blackburn Rovers for quite a high fee, and I think that was probably because of his
I could touch on Adam Wharton, though. I watched him in the Championship quite a bit, to be fair, and he was classed out. He reminds me of Jack Wilshere. I know I say this as an Arsenal fan, but he's left-footed. He's very capable on the ball. He can carry the ball. He gets it in between little spaces, little holes. Adam Wharton is a very, very good signing. He's only played 18 matches in the Premier League thus far, though. That's what I thought I'd touch on there. Go on.
Wow.
Where were you, Palace?
It depends if they can keep their players. Obviously, we know that in the last couple of days, they reckon that Michael Elise has got a 60 million buyout clause. Whether that is true or not, we will see. I actually would like to see Elise at Liverpool, so please don't go to Chelsea.
It'd be good for you, wouldn't it?
Because
Salah's staying.
Yeah, I think the way that Liverpool play football as well, it suits him down to the ground. I'm going to put, if they can keep most of their core players and Eze doesn't go out, if Eze doesn't go but Elise goes and they get a replacement in this half as good, I reckon they could push for. And Mateta and Glasner keeps them the way they've been playing.
Yeah.
They could get 11th.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for, but I just don't know where they're going. Let's move on over to Chelsea Football Club. I'm going to put this out there, people. They had a poor season, but they picked up towards the end. Obviously, their new manager worked under Pep Guardiola. He worked with Mikel Arteta as well. With the squad they have, and if they get Elise in and they improve on that squad, this is outlandish to say this. I think Chelsea will finish 4th next season and get Champions League position. That's a massive, massive call, Adam. And then people, you've got receipts. You've got the receipts now. You can cash in your receipts at the end of the season with me. But I think Chelsea will finish 4th, and I think they'll have a good season next season. I think it'll be close from all the way from 7th to 4th, and I think that Chelsea will nick it. What do you think, bro?
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clip that, and I'm going to write mine at the end of the season.
Clip it, mate.
Chelsea is a weird one because actually, if you think about it, Todd Bowley came in and he thought he'd just spend all this money and taking all these players from each team and stopping all the other teams getting these players. And he's just like thrown them together.
Do you know what he did? He had the core. When Roman Abramovich came in, he did the same thing. He brought in Hernan Crespo. He brought in Juan Sebastian Veron. He did the same thing, but it just worked the first time. This
has been a car crash. And it just shows you that the level of the ownership has no idea about football. He has obviously got money. They've spent a hell of a lot of money. Towards the end of the season, we saw them actually playing really quite well. And I was really surprised that Pochettino decided to leave because they're actually playing really well. I love Cole Palmer. I think he's quality.
Oh, he's class, mate. He's too good.
Yeah, I think... I'm not too sure on the Chelsea goalkeeper situation.
It's Petrovic. I think I get the feeling. No, they were going in for Mamardashvili, and Mamardashvili is an exceptional keeper. Really good keeper, Mamardashvili. If you know who he is, really, really good keeper.
I have no idea, Jay, in all honesty.
Yeah, Mamardashvili. Oh my God, mate! You go watch him. Mamardashvili is an awesome keeper. If they get him
isn't he the Valencia guy?
Yeah, that's the one.
Now I know who he is. Yeah, that comes to me. You know when you don't remember and then it comes to you, it's like
yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
So they're linked with him.
I mean, going forward, I think Chelsea are great. I think Sterling needs to go. I think he's not flop there. Yeah. Striker wise, Mudrik's been a waste of money. 100%. They haven't. Caicedo's sort of shown what he can do. Obviously, remember they've got Lavia that's not played a single game. I don't think.
No, that's not one.
From £50 million, and he ain't played a single game all season. I'm gonna say that Chelsea finished 5th.
5th? I'll come back to that, bro. 100%. I'll come back. That's close to what I'm saying anyway. But like I said, that 4th to 7th will. Yeah. Moving on over to Brighton Hove Albion. I think so. I had Everton in 14th, didn't I? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Brighton finished 13th next season. I don't know if I've mixed up 14th and 13th, but I think Wolves will finish in front of them. I think that Palace will finish in front of them. I'm going to go 13th position for Brighton Hove Albion next season. I think towards the end of the season, the last 4 months, I think their first half of the season carried on through to the latter end of the season. I think the latter end of the season, they were poor, really, really poor. And he's leaving as well. Their manager's left, hasn't he?
Yeah, De Zerbi. Yeah, he's gone.
He's left. I think they're going to have a lower place finish next season. And I don't think that should be a surprise because it should be where they're at, really. They've overperformed because their managers, because Graham Potter did a really, really good job for them. And I think that De Zerbi, when he came in, it was kind of already the setup. It was already there for him from Graham Potter. Yeah, it was already there. So I think that Graham Potter actually is a good manager. And is it Graham Potter that's coming in? I think he's rejected Brighton, hasn't he?
Yeah, he said he's not returning, didn't he? So
I'm predicting a 13th place finish for Brighton Hove Albion. What about you?
I'm just reading, actually. I've got it up because I saw it earlier. They're looking at appointing Sao Paulo. I think they just got promoted to the Bundesliga. Fabian Hertzula. He's only 31, so he's going to be obviously the youngest in the Premier League. Obviously, you've got older players at Brighton, and he's actually going to be younger than a few of the players that
Yeah,
are
it's like when
there.
Arteta came into Arsenal, there was players that were older than because Mikel Arteta when he came into Arsenal, he's the same age as Ronaldo. Mikel Arteta, I think.
Crazy. Yeah, it depends, doesn't it? Brighton. I think they play some great football. I like the way that they play the football. Is it Danny? Yeah, Danny Welbeck. I like Is it Enesco?
Yeah, Iniesta, yeah,
Yeah,
Iniesta, yeah, I know you're talking about.
yeah. He's not a bad footballer. I like Brighton. Obviously, you took Trossard.
Yeah,
Um,
oh, mate, what a shrewd bit of business that was. When we
yeah, lovely bit of business. I actually put it on par with Liverpool getting Diogo Jota from Wolves.
I can agree with that. Leo, yeah, we'll move on to us because I love Leo, man.
But yeah, I think Brighton probably. I'm gonna say I'm gonna sit on the fence, Jan. I'm gonna agree because they're not. Then they're too good to go down,
Yeah,
but
so
then
yeah,
they're not good enough with the way that the Premier League is shaping up to challenge anywhere near the top 7.
yeah. Oh, that's what I
So
literally agree on that as well.
yeah, so I'm with you. I think about 13th or 14th.
Yeah, I'll come back to that. Brentford, I think Brentford. Don't get me wrong, Wissa, great player. How old? Adam, let me ask you something. Touching on Brentford, how old do you think Embuemo is?
31.
He's 23.
Shut the front door.
I search it quickly. I swear he's 23 or 24 years old. Embuemo, class player. Honestly, have a quick little search while we're here. I'm pretty sure Embuemo is about 23, 24 years old.
He's 20. Yeah, he's 24.
24 years old.
I've just read out of all of them, Tony's the oldest.
Yeah. So they do Embuemo. I think someone could come in for Embuemo. I think Arsenal should go in for him as a backup to Saka. But we'll get into that. But Brentford, I think they're gonna have a poor season next season. I can't really see them doing too well. I think I'm going to put Brentford 15th next season. What about you, brother?
I like the way they play football. Obviously, Thomas Frank has been there for a number of years. He obviously
Yeah.
brought them up and he stabilised them. I actually like them. They've got a good community, a good
Yeah,
team, a good base. I don't see any danger for them going down. I don't see them
I think
challenging.
it's a safe 15th place finish.
I'm going to go out and say that they're going to have the best season. I mean, I could be wrong, but I reckon they're going to finish about 10th because, I mean, it depends, doesn't it, on the start? It depends on many factors. Does Ivan Toney stay? Does someone come in and get him to be the main striker? Then they lose that amount of goals because Toney as a penalty taker is unbelievable.
Yeah, of course.
So this is a bizarre, but we can clip this as well. But I'm going to say that Brentford finished 10th.
Okay, you're going to clip me on my next one anyway. We're moving over to Bournemouth, and I'm going to go out there and say they're going to finish 9th or 8th. And I'm going to elaborate for you people. Bournemouth last season, from January onwards, Arsenal were the most informed team, followed by Man City, followed by Bournemouth. Bournemouth were the 3rd most informed team from January till May. They only lost 3 games from January to May. Bournemouth were really, really good in the last 4 or 5 months of the season since their new manager came in. And the lovely, lovely thing about that, Adam, is him, Xabi Alonso, and Mikel Arteta all grew up in the same village, in the same town, and played for the same club. All 3 of them, they all grew up together in a little town in Sociedad, and they're all on the big stage in the Premier League. Xabi Alonso is in Bundesliga, and he's at Bournemouth. I'm back in Bournemouth for a 9th place finish next season. What are you saying, bro?
It's the stats don't lie, Jay. You're absolutely right. In terms of they're in form. They've got Dominic Solanke up front. They've got in a shrewd bit of business. I don't know if have they signed him now. Is it Kluivert? I'm not too sure. Have they fully signed him? Because
I don't think they have Kluivert. Oh, actually, did they fully sign him last season? Was he? I think he was their player from last season.
He might have been a loan, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe they actually bought him.
Yeah.
No, I think they actually bought him. I'm just reading.
Yeah, they actually bought him. Yeah. Good squad. Very good squad.
Yeah. And as we touched on, as you said, that they all come from the same village, these managers.
Yeah.
And that's Spanish football, isn't it? The way they
Lovely.
tick-a-tack football, the way they get the ball down, and the way
Yeah.
they play the football, and they press and they pass the ball around. It's almost
Yeah.
symmetrical, isn't it? The old Barcelona way.
Yeah.
Obviously not as good as Barcelona, but that is the style and the imprint of what they want to play like. Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium, they're a very good team, and on
That
their
little
day,
chance.
they can beat anyone. They can beat anyone. They go away from home, they can beat anyone.
You can see it, bro.
I'm gonna say they finish 8th.
Yeah, I'm backing it, bro. That's what I thought you were gonna clip me on it. But yeah, 100%. People are sleeping on AFC Bournemouth. Bournemouth, I know it don't sound like a massive team, but next season they will be good. I'm going to move over to Aston Villa, who have Champions League football next season. I know from past references, Unai Emery in his 3rd season, mark my words, Aston Villa fans, I'm going to whisper it to you, Unai Emery in his 3rd season is not good. Is not good. He did it for us. He tried to, at the end of the season, Villa fans, he literally bottled top 4. He made it, but because Tottenham was so poor as well, he could have they lost their last 3 games.
Crazy.
So if Tottenham would have won one of them games, you just wouldn't have got top 4. So Unai Emery, everyone harped on about. I think he did have. Don't get me wrong, he had an amazing season with your team with Aston Villa, but I think next season, I don't think I've done 7th. I think Villa will finish 7th next season. It's out. People, whenever I say it on my TikTok, everyone's like, "What are you going on about? They were so good." But trust me, people, they start playing Champions League football. I can talk from past experience. I had Unai Emery at my club. I've seen what happened with Unai Emery at my club. When we went to finish 4th and he bottled it when we finished 5th, we lost our last 3 games. We had to win 1 game from our last 3 to finish in the top 4. You know 3 seasons ago when we finished 5th and we
Yes.
bottled top 4 with Unai Emery, and then he got sacked the season after.
Yes.
That's what happened. That is what happened to us. No, about 5 seasons ago, exactly what happened to us. We had to win 1 game from the last 3, and we didn't with Unai Emery, and that's what nearly happened to us last season. And then the season after, we were poor. We were in 12th position, and he got the sack. What do you think, bro?
I like Aston Villa and I like Emery. I think he's done a really good job. Yeah, he's done a really good job at Villa.
Brother, I think it's the Coventry coming out at me because I'm from Coventry. We hate Villa.
I think they've done really well. Emi Martinez, great goalkeeper. He obviously was at Arsenal. He went to Villa. He's their number 1. Great goalkeeper. Going forward, Villa are really good going forward. Diaby, what a signing he's been.
Mr. Diaby's class.
Yeah.
I think the better one's Leon Bailey.
Yeah, Leon Bailey on that right wing.
Yeah.
Very
strong team.
They are a strong team, especially at Villa Park. They're a strong team.
They went out to Olympiacos. They talk about, a lot of Villa fans get up in my grill. This is what I mean with Villa, Adam. And they spoke about Arsenal bottling the league. We didn't bottle no league this season, but we did the season before. But them, did we touch on Liverpool?
No, we'll do that at the end. We'll do Liverpool and Arsenal at the end.
Sweet. I must have glazed past Liverpool by accident. But we do. That's perfect. It works out perfectly for us. What was I saying? Yeah, Villa fans always all up in my grill, yeah. But they lost to Olympiacos in the Conference League, or was it the Europa League? They lost to Olympiacos over 2 legs. They lost the last 3 games to bottle top 4. But it's just looking at Tottenham are Tottenham. Pepper. Sorry, that's my dog. So all I can see in my eyes, I think they're a really good team, but I just think they finished 7th, bro. And I don't know what it is. So what were you saying, bro? What were you saying? Where are you thinking?
I'm going to say they actually. So the thing is, now they're going to realise how many games they've got to play.
Yeah.
Because the Champions League format has changed, which means, obviously, as we said, there's more games to play. Villa's squad depth, I don't think is that great. Douglas Luiz looks like he's on his way out.
He already is. He's gone pretty much. He's out the door.
Yeah, he's gone. He's one of their main players. In terms of where Villa finish, I'm gonna say they actually don't have that bad season because ultimately you could get knocked out of the Champions League and still have a good season.
Yeah.
Because all the other teams are playing more and more games. I'm going to say they finished 6th.
So a 6th, yeah, I'll come back. That's what I'm kind of getting at. A 6th, a 7th, 6th place position. I'm back in that. Sorry, I was sorting my dog out, people.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, it's all good. So we move on to my football club, Arsenal Football Club. What I'm going to touch on straight away. Challenge for the title the past 2 years. We've got the second youngest squad in the league behind Chelsea. But now, if Mohamed Al-Neni's gone, and then if Thomas Partey goes, we're the youngest team in the league, and we've got this experience with a young squad. I'm just going to name a few players. I'm just going to reel off a few players to you, Adam. Saka, 22. Saliba, 23. Martin Odegaard, 24. Declan Rice, 24. Gabriel, 24. David Raya is a bit older. He's 27. Martinelli is 22. We ain't got one player over the age of 30 except for Jorginho. So if you think that team's already had this experience over the past 2 years where we've challenged, the season before we finished on 84 points. This season we finished on 89 points. We were 5 points behind Man City the season before. This season we were 2 points behind them. What does that say to you? What does that trajectory say to you? It says that they're going to go higher and higher and start hitting that 90-point stage, which you need to win the league. If we didn't take off, we took, everyone listening, and Adam as well, no Big Six team last season beat Arsenal. Not one Big Six team. Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, Man City, any of them. None of them beat us. Not one Big Six team. Man City, we took 4 points off them. Liverpool, we took 4 points off them. Manchester United, we took 4 points off them. No, we took 6 points off Manchester United. 4 points off Chelsea. These big hitters, we beat every one of them. Every one of them. It was only the December period where we lost 4 games in a row. That's what cost us. Whereas the seasons before, Man City, we hadn't beaten Man City in about 5-6 seasons. And then last season, we even played them in the Community Shield. We beat them in the Community Shield too. We took 7 points off Man City last season in total, when you actually think about things. So it was kind of that December period. I know we lost to Villa. We won 16 of our last 18 games.
Crazy.
16. Yes, when you think about it, it's crazy form. Like, if we did that at the start of the season, we would have ended up on 100 points. Well, 99 points in that form. So it's crazy when if we didn't take points off Manchester City, Adam, they would have finished with 96 points this season. 96 points if they beat us twice.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Like the amount of points now that you require to win the Premier League. It's
precisely. I mean, you think if we add to that, we were the highest scoring team in the league last season. We had 17 clean sheets. We had the best defense in the league because we conceded the least. We conceded the least times G. We scored the most goals. Add a striker to that. Add a bagsman to that, an Osherman, which we're going for, an Osherman or an Isak. Where are we going to go from there, boys? Let's just be honest. We had another centre midfielder, like I don't know if we'll get a Bruno, but another centre midfielder, because we need another centre midfielder because Al-Nene's gone. We need either an 8 or a 6. You add it to that squad. And I know I'm talking as an Arsenal fan, but even if I didn't support Arsenal, I looked in and I seen how young that squad is, and then the trajectory they're going on. It's going to happen at some point, isn't it? What do you think, Adam? I think Arsenal's first. I think Arsenal win the league. I'm going to put this on record, but sorry, one more thing. I think we win it by 4 or 5 points as well.
Obviously, Joe, you touched on the trajectory and the way that Arsenal are going, and every single season they've got better and better and better. And that is what, if you remember a couple of seasons ago, everyone was calling for Mikel Arteta's head.
Yeah,
they were slamming him, wasn't they? They were calling for him to walk. But Arsenal, the players believed in what he was about and what he was doing. And he was changing the mentality and the way that they play the game. Yeah. And he has learned, obviously being with Pep and being at Manchester City, it's almost gone to Arsenal and said, this is how he's the man. He's gone in there and said, look, I'm going to do this and you're going to listen.
This is my Fulham standard. That's what he says.
Yeah, I do not want these players. I want you to go out and you get me these players. I want a certain age group of players. Yeah. I don't need a 30, a 31, a 32. I want players that want to win the league, that want to play football, and want to play for Arsenal Football Club.
You've hit the nail on the head.
And that is what he has done. The only worry that I've got for Arsenal going forward, not the defence, because the defence has been absolutely great. Zinchenko is a bit of a worry on that left back. I actually like Tomiyasu, funny enough.
But do you know what the funny thing is, bro? Remember, we had Jurriën Timber injured the whole season. He's actually meant to be our left back.
He's going to come back. He's not injured anymore. He will come back. He will. Excuse me. He will slot in. Zinchenko's a bit of a weak link, I think, at the right back.
Yeah, I think as well.
I think you're right. You might need another midfielder. But if Arsenal are gonna win this league, and the trajectory says they're gonna do so, I think they need a striker. Jesus does not score enough goals. If they get a world-class striker, and we're talking Isak or Osimhen, I can see Arsenal winning the league quite comfortably.
Yeah.
But it all depends on whether they get that striker.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. So do you know this stat? You know the last 16 games. Do you know how many? You know since Kai Havertz played as centre forward, Adam. Since he played as a centre forward, do you know how many goals he scored in 16 games?
Who Havertz? Did you say Havertz?
Yeah. He scored 12 goals in 16 games as a centre forward. 12 goals in 16 games. I know it's Havertz, but that's mad to say.
It's a crazy stat, but the problem is, I've always said it. When you're in a tough situation, I always reference it to Stoke on a cold Monday night at Stoke.
Yeah.
You need someone that's gonna take the game.
A scruff of the neck.
Exactly, and that can just be you need a goal.
Don't have that at the moment. We don't have that.
And you need a goal. So, like for example, when you lost to Aston Villa at home, no fault because I thought that Emery set that game up well, and Aston Villa played really well, to be honest. No fault from Arsenal whatsoever. Villa just played well on their day and they won the game.
Yeah, they sat back and then caught us out in the last 15 minutes of the match. Exactly what they did. We battered them. We literally had 70% possession to their 30. We had 15 shots. We just needed that bagsman to put a goal in.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If you had that type of player that would take a chance, it only takes one chance to get one goal. If you have that, and you could have, if you had that world-class striker, you could have won that game 1-0. And we could be sitting here saying, Arsenal champions, Arsenal won the league.
Yeah.
That is the difference.
We 17 out of 18 games then.
That is the difference next season.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we will get
win the league.
Yeah, I think we'll get a striker. I think that's what we're doing. And we're in talks with Osimhen, Sesko, Benjamin Sesko decided to stay at RB Leipzig, but we're in for a striker, 100%. 100%. So I think we get that bagsman. So you're saying what you're saying position-wise for Arsenal?
If they get a striker, I've already said that Manchester City win the league.
Yeah.
If they get a striker, it's going to be close regardless. We all know that. It's a flip of a coin. But I think Arsenal finished second.
Yeah.
And it's close. It's close, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's going to be.
Once Pep goes, we control the league then anyway. I don't see anyone challenging us. Once Pep goes, I know you're a Liverpool fan and we're going to get onto Liverpool, yeah? If just say, have you seen the odds for the relegation next season? Have you seen that Man City are 25-1 and Chelsea are 20-1 to get relegated? Arsenal Liverpool are 4,000-1. And then Man City are 25-1 to be relegated next season. What do the bookies know?
Does that include financial fair play charges?
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. Do you know what? Do you want me to touch on? Do you know what's actually happened? How they found out about this FFP charges?
Yeah, Jay, elaborate.
So basically, there was a guy who was a hacker, and he hacked into a lot of football teams, and then he didn't find anything. He hacked into Man City's system and found them paying players more than what was on the books. And then, so basically, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, they rose 50% in the past 15 years from expenditure from sponsors. Man City have risen 1,500%. How does that make sense? But this lad he's a genius of hacking systems. He found Man City. He's the one who found the paperwork, and he found it and then gave it out to the public to say, here you are, this is what Man City are doing. So that's where the 115 charges come from. So the Premier League have read what this geezer's found and said it. And then they've asked for Man City for their books, which they're denying. They will not give them the books, and they just keep saying no. So they're taking them to court because they've been frauded. So it's fraudulent. What it's not in front of their face. They can't actually prove that they've got these, like they've done this thing wrong. So that's why the Premier League are asking for their books, which they're denying, and then they're saying that this guy shouldn't have frauded their account. It doesn't sit in court because they got hacked. So that's how it works. So the Premier League are asking for the books. Man City are saying no, and then the guy that frauded is in jail. That's how it all works. Crazy. So they're going to court, but it's misinformation because it's like me watching you in your house when I'm not meant to be in your house and recording you doing something mad. But in court, it's dismissed because I weren't meant to be in there in the first place.
It's crazy.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they know what they've done. The Premier League know they've done it, but Man City won't hand over their books to them. So that's why it actually is only 40 charges. But because they've rejected and said no to the books so many times, it's actually added up to 115 charges. So 80, so about 65 of the charges are actually because they won't hand over their books.
They know they've done wrong, don't they? That's
why they haven't handed over the books, bro.
Yeah.
It's from 2018 to 2014. So if something comes from it where they get stripped of titles, Liverpool would gain 2 and Arsenal would gain 2.
But the problem is I don't actually want them. As a Liverpool fan, I don't want them.
I don't want them either. Because they're just petty trophies, mate. Like,
yeah.
That's what they'll call it. So we'll move on over to Liverpool. I'll start off on Liverpool, brother. I think that Liverpool will finish third again next season. I think they've got a capable squad. A lot of people are saying that they won't because of Jurgen Klopp leaving. But I'll let you know something, Adam. I've been to Anfield. I've been at Anfield on quite a few occasions. I went and watched Liverpool. If Arsenal ain't playing and it doesn't affect Arsenal's results, I want Liverpool to win. As mad as that sounds. If Liverpool are playing against Bournemouth and it don't affect Arsenal, I sit there. I don't cheer them on. But when they score, I'm like, oh yeah, Liverpool has scored. Like because of their historical like Arsenal, I don't mean with champions. I mean we're both historical clubs, and we both do the same thing. Where we don't go out there and spend £500 million to make a squad. We go through our youth. We bring players through. We have like shrewd acquisitions. You know, like Leonardo Trossard, like Hughes have had with Mane, and it's similar.
Yeah, similar.
Liverpool last season reminded me of Arsenal the season before, where we had it in our hands and then we capitulated towards the end because we overplayed. We played in too many competitions. Like what happened to you? You were in the FA Cup. You were still in the Europa League. You were still in all,
wasn't it?
Yeah. So you just lost your legs, and that's what it was. That's what happened to us. It happened exactly the same thing. I'll be honest with you. If anyone says anything about bottling, I hate the term bottling. But when we came to play yous at your ground, yous were 8 points in front of us. 8 points in front. No, when you played at our ground, if you beat us, we were out the title race, we were done.
Yeah.
And we beat us and we clawed it back and we were 5 points behind you. We ended up finishing, I think, 6 or 7 points in front of you when about 10 games before, you were actually 8 points in front of us. But that's because of that run that we went on. But Liverpool, I enjoy watching Liverpool play. I think Liverpool will finish in third. I think if they have some good acquisitions, but I don't see them challenging. I don't know about you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because obviously Jurgen Klopp factor, Klopp mania has no more. It's a sad end, really, isn't it? In a way, he only won one Premier League trophy, but he brought the city together. He brought them. He created that community at Anfield. He got everyone on side. And almost in his first press conference, I remember watching it, and he said, I'm going to bring back that Premier League title. And ultimately, he delivered. Although he delivered, which I think is really bad in a COVID season, unfortunately. No fans in the stadium. But ultimately, the record books show that he's won a Premier League title. Yeah. And ultimately, it might end up going down, actually. Liverpool do get these trophies, and they lost out to a cheating Manchester City team.
You know what's the funny thing, Adam? I know exactly how you feel now. I know exactly how you felt over all them years. It ain't Klopp. Think about how many points. I feel sorry for Klopp, man. He smashed 99 points, 97 points. Arsenal ain't finishing with that point, but we're in the same position where it's just it's losing a fight in battle. You're losing a battle for no reason. Like that, you can't win.
No.
Like no, not at all. And I think that Mikel Arteta, you can kind of compare him to Klopp. Like, you know, when he come in, we were in turmoil. We were eighth, same as Liverpool.
Yeah.
They were eighth. It's kind of similar. If you put it together, they are kind of like similar tales. But you carry on, bro. You carry on.
And I think you're right. And I think he's almost not carbon copy Klopp, but in terms of the way it goes, and you bring your team together, the players, the right players. And remember that Jurgen Klopp decided he's the one that went to Hull, remember, and bought Andy Robertson for £8 million.
Madness.
It's crazy, isn't it? The way I want him as my first choice left back. He's from Hull City, and he cost me £8 million.
Crazy.
He's been the most reliable left back I've ever known. He's been absolutely magnificent. He then decided to bring Trent up through the academy, and we can all talk about Trent and the way he passes that ball. He's free kicks.
I love
He's
Trent.
dead
I
balls.
love him. All England fans keep saying, Trent. I think Trent's great, mate. I love him.
Yeah. And then obviously they sell Coutinho because he wants to go to Barcelona. Klopp tells him to stay because we'll build you a statue, and they get rid of him. And what does Liverpool actually then go and do? They go and get the two best players in the world, I believe, at that point. Alisson, the goalie, and Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
In defence.
Business that was.
Two players for the price of one. They then, what I did like is he went and got James Milner from Manchester City.
I think James Milner is the most underrated player in the Premier League era.
Absolutely. What a signing he was for Liverpool. So underrated, so incredible. I couldn't believe it when I read it, but what a servant he was to Liverpool. He was absolutely magnificent.
Every single club he's played at, he's still playing for Brighton right now.
Yeah. I mean,
we was when we were kids.
The thing is, the way I look at Liverpool now is the midfield. You've got McAllister, you've got Endo. I still think they need a holding midfielder. And there was talk that they were going to get Edison from Atlanta.
Yeah, I thought you have got him now already.
No, we haven't got him yet. I think there is talk. Apparently,
I watched him in that Europa League fight. He was awesome on the pitch.
According to, I think it was Fabrizio, I read the other day, that he came out because he's on international duty and said, I'm happy at Atalanta, but we will see what the future holds. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. So we don't know. Obviously, the way that Euro's gone, Arne Slotter's come in. I believe that Jurgen Klopp has left a really good team behind.
I do. I didn't Endo was 31 years old, though.
Pardon?
I didn't know Endo was 31.
Yeah, he's nearly 32. But in all,
I thought he was like 23.
No, he was the Stuttgart captain.
He was just a gap, weren't he? Just to plug a hole.
But what a job! What a job!
Yeah, great job. Yeah,
I love it when he just takes that gum shield out when he just plays just like a Japanese warrior, doesn't he? He's small. I was ashamed about Thiago. Obviously, Thiago's gone. He was quite injury prone.
What 4 years was he?
He was a class player, Thiago. So I'm sad to see him go. Going forward, obviously Diaz has come out and said he's not going anywhere. He wants to stay. It could be Salah's last season. I expect it will be.
He's got that last season. This season will be his last season.
Yeah.
I think he'll fall off this season as well. I don't think he'll get them numbers no more.
No, and the problem is now. I actually believe Liverpool should get a replacement for him now.
Yes,
I don't think they should wait to the end of next season because teams
out, and then they can mix and match, and then they can actually learn off Salah for a season as well.
Because teams are almost going to hold Liverpool to ransom because they know that Liverpool need a right-sided player. Going forward, obviously you've got Darwin Núñez. He's missed quite a hell of a lot of chances. I call him chaos, and he is chaos. He's erratic.
I like watching him play, you know.
Yeah, he misses some easy chances.
Yeah.
He's
like Arsenal's Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, but I tell you what, if Núñez can start scoring, Liverpool will be up there. I have watched a bit of Feyenoord, funny enough, towards the end of last season. I started actually watching Ruben Amorim when he was first linked with Liverpool.
Yeah.
Him at Sporting Lisbon.
With
the former Coventry striker.
You've got Inacio as well, the centre half.
Yes. I like the look of. Is it Girakes?
Perez.
That's the one from
I'm
Coventry.
from Coventry. I support Coventry
Yeah.
as well. He plays for Coventry City, bro.
What a player! What a
52
player!
goal contributions last season, Gyökeres, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, I was at Coventry. I watched him at Coventry, bro.
Absolute quality, mustard player. And obviously, then out of nowhere, it came out left field that Arnie Slot was going to take over. So I started doing a bit of more research into Arnie Slot and the way that he
Yeah, tell
plays.
me about him, bro. Tell me.
He plays similar to the way that Jurgen Klopp plays. And I think that was behind the thinking of Michael Edwards coming in, you know. And
Mhm.
I think obviously Jurgen Klopp might have got involved as well. He will say he hasn't, but the stats don't lie. And I actually, when reading it, Feyenoord have won the ball back. I know it's only the Dutch league, but they
Yeah,
pressed more than Liverpool, won the ball back more than Liverpool, and the
yeah,
energy rate and the work rate was more than Liverpool. So it all quite fits into a mould that actually, although Jurgen Klopp has gone, it fits into still a Jurgen Klopp sort of style in terms
yeah.
of he wants these teams to high press. He wants them to win the ball back quickly. He wants them full throttle. Um, we will see in the coming obviously weeks and stuff after the Euros what's going on with the transfers and who stays and who goes. Virgil van Dijk is a little bit older now. Um, is Trent going to play in midfield? Is Liverpool going to get a right back? Because Connor Bradley is now absolutely performing really well. I really like Connor Bradley. Left back, Robertson's a little bit injured. But I actually believe the main man for Liverpool is Diogo Jota. The problem is he's quite injury prone. If they can keep Jota fit and Nunes scoring some goals,
Yeah.
Liverpool could be a force. But yeah, Jay, I think third place is the maximum. They outperformed last season in terms of they was on a title charge. Jurgen Klopp didn't expect it. Liverpool fans didn't expect it.
That's what I said. It was the same as us that previous season, bro. We didn't expect nothing like that, and then it happened.
Yeah, exactly. You've got McAllister in midfield, Gravy, 35 million. What a steal!
A
What an
player.
what an absolute steal it is. Yeah, I agree. I think Liverpool will finish third. I think they're better than all the other teams. Anfield is a fortress. I
Yeah,
still think Anfield is going to be a fortress, whether that's
100%.
Jurgen Klopp or any manager. You know, any Liverpool throughout the whole Premier League era, no team really wants to go to Anfield.
Of course you don't.
Um,
Hear all the players in that saying that 100%.
Liverpool do have their off days. I'm
Yeah,
wary. The problem is you got to kill teams off, and last season Liverpool didn't do that, and that is
no.
why they lost them games because Nunes didn't take his chances. Salah didn't perform well. So we'll see as we go on.
The only game I see you get dominated last season, and I'm not just saying this as an Arsenal fan. You know what? You beat us in that cup game, and you beat us. You drove us in the league just before that. That 3-1 win against Hughes, we battered you. Absolutely battered you. And I couldn't believe I was watching. I was thinking, this Liverpool side, 8 points in front of us. I was like, Jesus! Like I expected more kind of thing, but I don't know if it's just the occasion. Maybe.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, remember the thing is, any game away at Arsenal is going to be a tough game.
Just now itself.
Yeah, exactly. And ultimately, obviously, Liverpool was the FA Cup. Yeah. Oh no. So the league game was after the FA Cup. So there was a bit of
Yeah,
a
we just beat
revenge.
them.
Yeah, that was a bit of a revenge game, wasn't it? But Arsenal ultimately, in the end of the day, needed to win that game. That's what
Yeah,
it came down
we were
to.
out of the race completely. If we lost that game, we were done.
But
We
I mean,
we were 8 points, but we would have been 8 points behind you if you beat us that game.
I remember. I mean, I have to admit, I didn't actually watch the 3-1 win because I was in London, I think, at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
did, however.
Alisson made the mistake, didn't he? Alisson and Van Dijk got in each other's way. Martinelli scored.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I probably watched your match of the day, 100%. I probably watched it on
Alisson
highlights
made
or
a
something.
mistake. We put
I
us
did,
2-1 up.
however, watch Liverpool Arsenal at Anfield just
Yeah.
before Christmas.
Yeah, great game.
Great, absolute great game. The only thing I would say is obviously we talk about VAR and we can talk hours for VAR
Yeah,
and the
that
way
Odegaard
it's reviewed.
handball,
That the Odegaard handball is
handball
a
all day.
Stonewall penalty.
It was a Stonewall pen, 100%.
The problem with VAR is the people behind it, isn't it? It changes week to week. What is
I
handball?
saw
What isn't handball?
a podcast last night, yeah, and it was for a lad what's part of AFTV, Ardent Gooner Network, and he asked me what my opinion was, and I said, because I've done all my refereeing and stuff. I've been at a referee at levels and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
thing is, referees don't want to referee because of the abuse they get at every single level.
Yeah.
And they're all older white referees. So you think, me and you, we're around the same age, so we have the same ideas what a foul is and what a foul isn't, or what handball is. Whereas if you've got a 60-year-old man, you go to the pub, like my uncle was 60 years old. I want to watch football with him. He'll go, that's definitely not a foul. And I'll say, that's a foul all day, mate.
Yeah.
That's why you need some younger blood referees to come in, and then that's will sort that problem out. And then in the VAR room, it has to be one person who's actually a referee and one person who's actually just there for tech, just for technology. So he just goes, that's the lines, boom, 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 boom. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Because they have so many people in that booth. Like, you remember when that Diaz goal against Tottenham was ruled out for offside.
Yeah.
And Sky Sports and I watched it, and Gary Neville, they released a statement at the end of full time, and the clip was Gary Neville was going, oh no, oh no, oh no. And they blamed it on a significant human error. And at the end of it, they released the tape and they said about it was actually the mic guy, wasn't it, that brought it up. And they said, hang on a minute, you've give it offside, but it's actually the image we've shown is onside. And then when I watch Sky Sports News and Mike Dean's on there, I don't even understand why Mike Dean is on there. And he's having an argument with Paul Merson about the law and the rules. Ultimately, do you remember Manchester United got given a penalty at Brighton when the full-time whistle went? I don't get why you can't stop a game after 8 seconds and say, hang on a minute, we've made it, and ultimately they would have got the right decision. And although fans at the time, with Spurs fans, would have been unhappy, it ultimately would have been the right. And I think ultimately they would have been recommended more. And in the highlight of the media and everything, hang on a minute, VAR, they've gone against protocol, but they've got the decision right.
Do you know what was actually? I know I say this as an Arsenal fan. What was the worst decision out of VAR last season? And it probably did cost us the league. That ball at Newcastle. The ball was out completely. The ball was out by about that much. Like, when you look it back, it literally, the ball was out by that much. It weren't like this. It was like that. The ball was completely out. Joe Willock, who crossed the ball, an ex-Arsenal player, come out and said, I just played on, knowing that the ball was out, but I just played on. I mean, even admitting, he goes, mate, the ball was well out. And then afterwards, what they need, brother, so every stadium needs a camera. So you know how we've got VAR, we've got goal line technology. They need it all around the pitch.
Why not, is it?
No, it's not
It's not calibrated, is it? It's not that, like Gary Neville says, like in some certain stadiums, you can't get the right angle to do the lines and stuff.
That's why every single stadium should have a camera. We've got all these cameras, a camera positioned exactly where every single line is, exactly the same in every single stadium. So it covers whether, you know, like the whole pitch, the whole line.
Yeah.
That's that problem then, don't it? Like, I mean, if everything's straight and all the cameras are straight and they're all in the position you want, you can tell an offside straight away.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I actually, talking back on VAR and stuff, I actually think over the years we see that actually the most team has benefited the most is actually Manchester City.
Yeah.
Because I remember the Rodri handball away at Everton where Liverpool could have won the league. It was a 1-1 game and Everton could have got a penalty.
What about when they booted for Thingy at Liverpool versus Man City when he booted him in the air?
McAllister.
Yeah, when he booted him in the air last minute of the game.
Yeah, in the Doku in the chest.
We would have won the league if he gave that, and he's got a penalty. You know that, right?
Crazy, but it's a stonewall penalty. And you know what really bugs me as well? They do this Howard Webb show on Sky Sports News. Sky Sports, Michael Owen asks him the most soppiest of questions.
Oh, Michael Owen. Oh, his punditry is absolutely woeful. I know he's ex-Liverpool, yeah, but he'll go. Have you heard him go? If you don't score, you don't win. Of course you don't, please.
I know. I know.
You don't win.
And I think Howard Webb coming out and he goes, in my opinion, and we've known now that it should have been a penalty, but it's not good enough, is it? Because it's costing teams the league. And also, don't teams get money per where they finish at the end of the season?
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, of course they do.
And ultimately, teams are losing out big amounts of revenue for their team.
You not remember not last season, the season before, when we played that Brentford game and they forgot to draw the lines, and Brentford scored. We missed out on top four that season, by 1 point. We played Brentford. I don't know if you remember, but the referees come out and apologised to Arsenal because they forgot to draw the lines against Brentford. If you Google it and have a look, they literally forgot to draw the lines. They forgot to draw the lines on an offside. Tony was well offside, and they forgot to draw the lines. Are you bringing it up now?
I'm having a look now.
Yeah, forgot.
Christian,
Just put Brentford.
Christian Norgard.
Yeah, they forgot to draw the lines, and then the referees had to come out and apologise. The Premier League come out and apologise to Arsenal, but we finished 1 point away from top 4 that season.
Oh, and look who it was. It was Lee Mason.
Yeah, Lee Mason. That's why I cannot stand him. But do you see what I mean? Like, they didn't draw a line, and then we missed out on Champions League football. What this season got us £120 million this season.
Crazy. You know, there was one referee I wish, and also let me just get this stat up for you as well. I think I've got a funny feeling this is correct. I'm just before I say it, I don't want to get myself wrong.
VAR last season. I know that 25 errors that were wrong in VAR. I'm going to turn my camera off 1 sec, mate.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Still here. I'm still talking.
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on, mate. I've only got about 5 minutes left because my wife is a teacher and we've got to go to bed. So
yeah, of course, man. Of course.
Do you know what? There's one referee in the Premier League that I cannot stand.
Yeah. Who's that?
Anthony Taylor.
Oh, I can't stand him either.
I can't stand him. But they say that Michael Oliver's the best referee and stuff. But let's face it, all in general, that and this is what really bugs me with football, that every decision is different. Like, especially with handball. What is the handball law? Like, 1 week is the penalty, and 1 week later, the most not a penalty is a penalty.
Everything's so, like, even me and you, when we had a VAR and referee chat last night, and we had 6 of us, yeah, and even all of us couldn't come to the decision whether what was wrong or right. So that just shows, like it can't be fixed, because even like me and you could talk on certain things, and I could say that's not a foul, and you could say that is a foul. So there's no guideline. They don't tell us anything. A referee should, after the game, what we said last night, what they should do, they should have a little board meeting. After every single game, they should have a table, yeah? And they'll go, well, you got 5 for that game, or you got a 10, you did a really good game. And then they get to ref the big games because they got a 10 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? They have a point system. And then they get paid.
Do
you know how much they get paid?
Don't they get paid like a per game as well? They get a salary and then they get paid per game.
£1,000 a year, which ain't that much.
But but if they perform well and they get Champions League football and they get they get additionals, don't they? They get more money.
£70,000 a year, which is not too much. They should probably get paid a bit more incentive.
Oh yeah, I mean, I actually think there's biasism. Like, that isn't a word, I've made it up, but we all know that
most of them are from Yorkshire. Most of them.
But I'm just looking, like, I just think as well, like, when we always see the referee go to the VR screen, and it's just almost given as we know it's a red card, we know it's a penalty because you're going to the screen. And also as well, they're getting shown frames that are not the real thing, are they? Like,
you see nothing.
And
when you're in the ground, it's even worse. You don't see nothing. It ruins the experience. You don't want to celebrate a goal. You don't know what to do. Your team scores. So when we scored against Liverpool, when Martinelli scored and made it 2-1, I sat there and I couldn't celebrate. Crazy. And normally I start jumping up, get my top out, doing mad stuff, bro. Yeah. Crazy. Anyways, people, we're going to leave it at there. It's been lovely having you on, Adam. I'm going to touch on one thing that I always, I don't know if you watch my pods, but I always touch on one last thing. Mental health awareness, people. So if you just want to put a lending hand out to someone, even if you just message someone you haven't spoken to in a while, you see someone on the bus, anyone, just say, how are you? How you doing? Just literally someone you don't know. If you're sat on the bus or on a train with someone and you just turn over and just say, hello, don't put your headphones in. Just go, hello, how are you, mate? How's your day been? And that might cheer up that person. They might be thinking some mad thoughts. So just people, mental health awareness, please, people. Go check in on someone. Check in on someone today. While I'm talking, message someone you haven't spoken to and just say, I'm just checking in on you. How you doing? Just something simple like that. That's all I ask of you, people. But Adam, it's been brilliant having you on. Do you want to drop the people your plugs again, just so they can follow you?
Yeah, guys, listen, I'm on TikTok. It's Adam.brandsports. I'm bringing you the best hospitality tickets, not just sports, but events, music events. I also am a holiday agent as well. So although I do sports, I've got holidays. So feel free to message me. My email and my Instagram is on my TikTok page. I'm hopefully bringing out a website very soon. It's being designed. So you'll find some more stuff on there. But ultimately, at the end of the day, thanks to Jay for having me on. It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah,
I'm sure that we'll be doing this again at some point, especially when the new fixtures come out. As of for now, we're going to sign off. Adam@brandsports. Take care, guys, and I'll see you very soon.
Thank you for coming on, brother. Everyone, hit that 3-punch combo. So, bam, bam, bam. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. Take care, people, and stay blessed. See you later.